Hey there ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to Speaking of Anime with me, Christian Ashmore, and today I'm going to be talking about, sorry my chair's kind of squeaky, Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super has finally ended. I'm a little gutted because I was really enjoying it, and but of course it had to come to an end at some point, although they could have carried on with more arcs, but save that I suppose. Some of the arcs in it didn't really stand out for me. I can't really remember how it's. No, well, I remember how it started. It started basically with the Battle of the Gods movie integrated into it, and then the Resurrection of Frieza integrated into it. But then I can't remember anything else apart from certain arcs which stood out for simple reasons. For example, the battle with Goku Black. That arc stood out for me just simply fact for the Vegito Super Saiyan Blue. That was just absolutely awesome. I enjoyed seeing that, and I liked the fact that it explained why they defused, because it only worked permanently if you were a Kai. So I like that was explained, because it never was explained in Dragon Ball Z, and you were just there like, when they were told it was going to be permanent, everyone just thought, okay, maybe it was where they were sucked into Majin Buu. But I'm glad that was finally explained. I enjoyed the battles. If I'm honest, I don't really enjoy the Future Trunks stuff much. It was good, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, was alright. I liked the fights and all that, but I don't really enjoy the Future Trunks stuff much. So when I first saw him back, I was sat there like, oh, not him again. But it was interesting to see how it went out, because he attacked Goku at the start. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there was another arc after that, but then it went into the Tournament of Power, and oh my god, that arc was amazing. I absolutely enjoyed the Tournament of Power, seeing all the different universes, having like this big on Battle Royale, that was just amazing. There was no doubt in my mind Universe 7 was going to win it, but I didn't see the ending coming, I must admit. The end, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to go into spoilers here, so if you want to see the ending before you finish watching this, go right ahead. Hearing all of Jiren's backstory and all that, that was pretty cool. There were other characters that were interesting in there as well. Frieza, for example. Frieza was quite an interesting character. I already knew everyone knows a lot about Frieza already, but he really sort of, in my opinion, he really sort of stood out in this Tournament of Power, because he basically conserved himself for a lot of the fight. He didn't, for a lot of the Battle Royale, he didn't sort of get involved in any of the proper fighting until like the opponents were weak and he took them out. But yeah, he really sort of showed I want to say a different side to himself, but at the end of the day, he was all sort of doing it to his own benefit. But yeah, Frieza was a character that stood out to me. That was pretty interesting. Seeing Goku go Ultra Instinct, oh, that was just amazing. The first time he went it, he absorbed the energy of his Spirit Bomb, I believe. He was attacking Jiren with a Spirit Bomb, and Jiren just managed to push it back and basically attacked Goku with it, but he absorbed the energy, went Ultra Instinct, and it didn't last for long because obviously he wasn't used to it, but during the whole tournament he got better and better. Seeing the Kale and I've forgotten the other girl's name do the Potara fusion. It would have been nice to see Vegito again, but that was stopped by one of the other universes. I can't remember which one it was. And when that happened, I was sat like, oh, maybe if they're not going to go Vegito, they could go Gogeta. Imagine seeing Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. It could still be a possibility. You never know. There is going to be a movie, and there is going to be another series, I hope. I'm not quite sure if that is true. I'll have to look that up. But that would have been awesome to see Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Never know. It might still happen in a later series. Who knows? But yeah, the proper fight, the last fight by far was my favourite. hearing Jiren's backstory, and then Jiren properly making Goku rage. I'm trying to watch my language here, so yeah, making him rage by actually attacking his friends, which wouldn't have really worked because there were like probably well over a dozen characters on that platform that could have stopped that blast. For example, Gods of Destructions, the Angels. You also had the Grand Priest who could have done it, and of course the two Zenos themselves that could have done it. But the fact that it was actually Goku that sort of went up and deflected the attack, and then went full on ham on Jiren, and again Jiren sort of progressing his abilities himself during the fight. It was pretty good, but what really sort of stood out with me was in that fight was the fact that it wasn't actually Goku who was left standing. Goku actually ended up mastering Ultra Instinct, but as soon as his body hit the limit, it was just like, no, you're done. And Jiren almost knocked him off, and then it was Frieza who saved him. Frieza stopped him from falling off the ring. And I think what also shocked me was, because this sort of confused me after a while, because I wanted to do a video on it, but I didn't. At the same time, I didn't, because I figured it would have been explained in later episodes. But the episode where 17 basically sacrificed himself to save Goku and Vegeta, I always wondered what happened to Frieza. It never explained it. You didn't see him appear in the stands. No one asked where he was or anything. But to see him save Goku at the end was like, oh my god, what's going on here? And then 17 coming up out of nowhere as well. I was sort of like, yeah, there's no way they could have killed him off. Everyone loves 17. 17's everyone's favourite android. So there was no way they could have killed him off. But then the last fight after the Goku Ultra Instinct versus Jiren, you had Goku, 17 and Frieza all fighting Jiren, who was pretty much also at his limit. Goku and Frieza actually working together was quite a shock. They were doing really well as well. They were proper cohesive and everything. 17 working well with them. And then as soon as Jiren proper sort of got mad, he sort of avoided Goku and Frieza and went straight for 17, who was doing more supportive role, while Goku and Frieza were doing the more attacking role. As Goku and Frieza were going to stop him, Frieza was like, alright Goku, just chuck me, I'll get there faster. So Goku basically boosted Frieza. Frieza attacked Jiren with like a lot of power, trying to force him off the arena, but it didn't quite work. He was close, and then Goku comes along and actually helps out, forcing Jiren actually off the arena. All three of them fall off at once, and it's 17 who's left standing. That was like a shock to me. I admit the ending could have been a bit more interesting for me, but it was still pretty cool. 17 actually getting to make the wish on the Super Dragon Balls, and his wish was basically to bring every universe that had been erased during the tournament back. And everyone was shocked to hear this, but the Grand Priest was like, yeah, Zeno-sama saw this coming, so he knew the person would have a nice heart to do it and all that. And everyone was like, just to be sure, what happens if that wasn't the wish? The Grand Priest turns around and goes, you would have just gone, screw it, all of you go. I don't want to deal with you. You're all gone. So yeah, if 17 had made a selfish wish, we wouldn't have any more Dragon Ball. We probably would have, but probably not. But yeah, and then after that, you basically saw all the universes sort of celebrating their return and all that. And the last bit, I think it was just after the credits, because obviously they had the credits going with all that. You actually had Goku and Vegeta fighting, and Vegeta asked Goku what happened to his Ultra Instinct, because Goku was actually fighting Super Saiyan Blue. And this kind of annoyed me, because it would have been nice to see more. We probably will still see more Ultra Instinct in the future, but Goku turns around and says, "Oh well, I don't have it anymore. It might have just been accidentally where I was pushed so far." Yeah, he wasn't fighting Ultra Instinct anymore, so we may see it again because there is a movie coming out, which is supposed to take place after a bit of a rest period from the Tournament of Power. And as for another season, I have no clue. But I am really gutted that Dragon Ball Super has ended. To be honest, I watched it subbed. I'm waiting for it to come out dubbed because I would like to hear what type of voice Jiren has in dubbed. It'd be interesting to see because I have seen animes where the subbed voice is quite a deep character, and then you go to the dubbed, and it's just like, I was not expecting this voice to come out of your mouth. I've had that quite a bit, so yeah. But Dragon Ball Super for me I enjoyed it. Some parts I don't remember. This is one thing I want to say. Replacing Majin Buu with Frieza. This is just my personal opinion. If you sort of agree with me on this, then leave a comment below. If you have your own opinion, again, leave a comment below. But my personal opinion with the replacing Majin Buu with Frieza was Majin Buu was training a lot for the Tournament of Power, and when they eventually showed him after his training, he'd basically gone from being the fat, lovable, jolly Majin Buu that we all know to this super buff, super Buu sort of body, but he still had the sort of the jolliness of the fat Buu. I feel a lot of people didn't like this transformation and was like, no, we don't want to see this. And they were just like, okay, then we just completely scrap it and replace Majin Buu with someone else who could be bringing... Oh, Frieza. There we go. It could have been a number of people they could have brought in, but there was Frieza. And they brought Frieza in because he also had his new form. And no one... I think Cell's just completely gone. But yeah, that's my opinion on the matter of replacing Majin Buu. I would have liked to see more of Majin Buu in his muscle state, because I really enjoyed the fight with Goku and Majin Buu in that form. But yeah, that's my opinion on the subject of replacing Majin Buu with Frieza. I don't know how it actually went. It could have been all scripted out before and it was supposed to happen. But in my opinion, it could have also been, yeah, people didn't like that change in Majin Buu, so they had to rewrite it for someone else to be in. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Super yet, you've just had a lot of it spoiled for you, mostly the ending. And but if you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend going and watch it. It is 131 episodes long. Possibly more, possibly different on other sites, because the site I watched it on was 131 episodes. But yeah, it is a really good story. I'm glad they did another Dragon Ball series, which actually followed on from Z, because GT was a spin-off. But I feel like it would have been good to sort of integrate GT into the story somehow. But what I'm sort of, again, this is an opinion of mine. I feel like what they could do now is not so much remake GT to basically join on to the end of Super, but more sort of have a sort of similar element to it, but include the other universes. So like, if I remember correctly, in Dragon Ball GT, you have the Black Star Dragon Balls, which, when a wish is made on them, they scatter across the galaxy. Not just Earth, they scatter actually across the galaxy. It would be interesting to have something similar to that, but across the universes. Who knows? Because one thing I loved with GT was the Super Saiyan 4, and my personal favourite, probably my favourite form of Super Saiyan 3, to be honest, was Kid Goku Super Saiyan 3. I really enjoyed seeing that, but GT wasn't sort of the best series, but it had its moments. But yeah, that's just sort of my opinion. Not so much remake GT, but sort of have a similar idea around it. Because, like, if I'm correct, the Super Dragon Balls actually are across multiple universes. Maybe something to do with that. The Super Dragon Balls as well. I don't know. We won't know until they sort of announce more on it. But yeah, that is basically my talk about Dragon Ball Super and what could happen with the future of Dragon Ball. These are my opinions again. If you have any of your own opinions, leave a comment below. And until next time, I shall see you around. Goodbye.